It's high noon.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Broncos Gaming World. Taking a look today at some Warhammer 40k kind of preview stuff with the 10th edition coming out. I thought we'd take a look at all the new stuff that's coming out. So with this one today, we're going to take a look at the Astra Militarum for Warhammer 40k. It says it's the Hammer of the Emperor. It says the Imperium is mind-bogglingly fast and under constant attack from unknowable terrors within and without, and it is only by the daily sacrifice of innumerable Astra Militarum troops that the darkness is held back. The Imperial Guard is the only organization enormous enough to protect humanity's realm from one galactic edge to the other, built upon the blood and grit of men and women who hold the line against aliens, mutants, and heretics. With a new Tyranid invasion bursting out from an unexpected quarter, the Astra Militarum are harder pressed than ever, but they do have the bulwark of some tasty new rules. So they do have a pretty cool picture here showing off a bunch of the newer models that they've got. Lemurus Demolisher, the Rogodorn. It looks like a Baneblade back there, another Rogodorn, the Aegis Defense Line, and your vat of guardsmen, some Rough Riders charging into the Tyranid swarm with some Bullgrins over there too. It says one ordinary mortal can't hope to stand against the galaxy's worst nightmares alone, and the commanders of the Astra Militarum know this well. Synergy is the name of their game, so bellowing officers demand the best from their troops while artillery thunders and tanks bury the foe in high explosive mayhem. Across the board, across the board boost in vehicle toughness is a gift from the Emperor himself. The Lehman Russ and the Baneblade are both armored up, backed up by double-sized units of guardsmen. They present an impenetrable wall of steel that few foes will have the firepower to break through. Some new faction rules. Another pretty cool photo with a pair of Rogodorn battle tanks and a Sentinel heading into some Chaos Marines there. They might be expendable mortals thrown into hellish war zones with little more than a lasgun and a prayer, but the Imperial Guard have one thing that makes them the envy of foul aliens and vile heretics the galaxy over: a highly skilled, much loved, and totally meritocratic officer class. The Voice of Command Army Rule gives these battle-tested tacticians access to 6 specialized orders, allowing you to micromanage each one of your units for the situation at hand. All right, so the Astra Militarum Army Rule here is the Voice of Command, which is the same. It's named the same, I think, as what they had in 9th Ed, but for 10th Ed, if you have Army faction is Astra Militarum, in your command phase, your officer models from your army with this ability can issue orders. Each officer status sheet will specify how many orders it can issue and which units are eligible to receive those orders. Each time an officer model issues an order, select one of the orders from below, then select one eligible friendly unit within 6 inches of that officer model to issue it to. Till the start of your next command phase, the unit you selected is affected by that order unless otherwise stated. A unit can only be affected by one order at a time. Any order subsequently issued to that unit replaces the current one. And if a unit is being affected by an order becomes battle shock, that order ceases to affect that unit. So you've got the 6 orders that they've got here are move, 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 which allows you to move 3, add 3 to your movement. Fixed bayonets, it allows you to improve your weapon skill by 1. Take aim allows you to increase your ballistic skill by 1. First rank fire, second rank fire allows you to increase the rate of fire on your rapid fire weapons by 1. Take cover increases your armor save by 1, and duty and honor increases your leadership and objective controls by 1. So it's a pretty basic set of orders that they're able to give out, but universally they're all like the names and everything, they're the same as they've always been. I think it's all part of them streamlining 10th Ed just so that it's a little bit easier to understand. I think these six orders are fairly cut and dry exactly what they do, but I also do think they give you a good amount of flexibility depending on what unit you're using it on. You add your 3-inch move to like your Rough Riders or your Ogren if you're looking to get them into close combat. It allows them to get in there across the field faster. Obviously your increased weapon skill for them as well is also nice. Your take aim is obviously fantastic for your rank and file units or your heavy weapons teams. Same thing with your first rank fire, second rank fire. Definitely more for your crunchy Imperial Guard units. Obviously, anytime that you need to take cover, you're probably in trouble. Duty and honor is nice, being able to increase your objective control characteristic. It says, with command squads and castellans urging your infantry assets, tank commanders directing your armored squadrons, and the Lord Solar bellowing inspiration at just about everybody, there's an order for every occasion and an ear for every order. Just be careful not to target squads on the brink of collapse. If they fall into battle shock, your order will have been wasted. So that's key there too, is that if they end up failing their morale check, they can become battle shocked and they'll lose their ability to have that order. Their unit spotlight is going to be the Cadian Shock Troopers. It says the humble guardsman is the beating heart of the Astra Militarum, and few have as great a reputation as the Cadian Shock Troopers. Trained practically from birth to hold the line against the Imperium's foes, these model soldiers can use their shock troops' ability to secure vital objectives in moments before pressing on with the assault. Similar abilities can be found on the core troops of many factions, allowing players to free up resources from camping objectives and take the fight to the enemy. All right, so what they've done here is they've kind of rolled back from like the 10-man squad that they kind of standardized to where you're able to run your big 20-man blobs like I think you used to be able to back in like 5th and 6th edition. You'll get like 2 leader models in those bigger units. 1 leader model for every 10. 2 leader models if you have up to 20. Every 10 models you can put special weapons on them, but you can't have duplicates unless you have a 20-man squad. If you have a 20-man squad, you can have 1 duplicate, so you could have like 2 melta-guns in a 20-man squad, but in a 10-man squad you can only have 1 melta-gun, though you can have 2 special weapons in there. So you can have a grenade launcher and a melta-gun, or flamer and a plasma gun, whatever you want. You can have 1 vox caster in every unit of 10. Your sergeants can swap their pistols around for like bolt pistols. They can also swap it out for the drum-fed autogun. Their stat line here: 6-inch movement, toughness 3, save of 5+, 1 wound, leadership 7+, and their objective control of 2. Pretty typical. I mean, they're humans, so they're nothing super special. Here's their weapon layout here. The las gun, rapid fire 1, hits on 4+, strength 3, damage 1, standard. It's been that way for as long as I can possibly remember. I mean, and I go back 30 years with 40k, so it's pretty typical. Chain sword gives you 3 attacks. Weapon or hits on 4s. Everything there's pretty typical, pretty standard. It looks like they did up the strength of the melta-gun here from 8 to 9. Plasma gun I think looks the same as it did before pretty much. It does have the supercharge, which I can see what they're doing already. They're pretty much taking the plasma gun in every squad, plasma pistol on every character. They're kind of shelving that. I mean, I think you still could do it because it's still going to be really good against infantry units, but you're not going to crack tanks with plasma guns anymore. Even melta guns, you're going to be hard pressed to crack tanks with it, because I'll show you that here in a second. You're going to see the stat lines for some of the tanks. The grenade launcher, the frag grenade, hits die 3 guys, hits on 4+, strength 4. So they did boost the strength on the frag grenade a little bit, so it hits a little harder. And the crack grenade, they upped the strength a good bit. It's now strength 9 -2 armor penetration. It does die 3 wounds. So it has an outside shot of popping some of the tougher vehicles, but still not really ideal. The Cadian Shock Trooper, they have an ability. It says, at the end of your command phase, if this unit is within range of an objective marker you control, that objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start of any turn. So you can literally, it's kind of like a blitzkrieg advance, where it's like your guys go in, they can grab the objective and just keep pushing. I kind of dig that that thought process. So that's kind of cool. And they do have the warrior special with a Voxcaster. It says each time a target, uh, each time you target the bear's unit with a stratagem, roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result if there are more than one friendly officer model within 6 inches. On a 5+, you gain one command point. So that's nice. So Keen-Eyed commanders will notice that the Cadian shock troops can now form squads from 10 to 20 models, and they're not alone. The Catachin Jungle Fighters, the Deathcore Krieg, and the classic infantry squads can all double up their numbers, meaning each of your orders can affect up to twice as many troopers as before. So again, they're making it sound like it's brand new. This isn't brand new information. It's brand new for anybody who's only been playing for like 8th and 9th edition. But back 2010 late aughts, you were able to field the big 20-man blob of dudes. You're also able to put heavy weapon squads and stuff in units back then, which I don't think you can. They're not going to let you do that anymore. So here's what I was talking about: your tanks. I mean, this is your super heavy tank. The Baneblade here has a movement of 9, a toughness of 13, save a 2+, 24 wounds, which is a massive amount, less than they have now, but still massive. Leadership 7 and an objective control of 8, so that's kind of nice. The Baneblade cannon, 72-inch range, has 3d6 attacks, which is bonkers. Ballistic skill 4+, strength 12. There's where you're seeing that there's that slow ramp up of the amount of damage or the strength that these attacks do. Has only AP of -2 and it does 3 damage, so it's nice. The coaxial autocannon, pretty much the same as it was before, except for they boosted the damage or the strength on it again by 2. The demolisher cannon, same gig here. Pretty much the same as it was before, except for they boosted up the strength of it. Your heavy stubber has 3 attacks. Las cannon, a lot of folks were concerned, well, las cannon strength 9, it's not going to be able to crack any vehicles anymore. Here's a prime example of how they're acknowledging that they need to boost damage on your anti-tank weapons. So there's your strength 12 las cannon. Heavy bolter, pretty much standard as it is, has the sustained hits, it's twin linked. Twin heavy flamer has that new torrent ability, which I believe the torrent ability is just the acknowledging that it automatically hits anything that's within the range of it, obviously based on which unit you're firing at. And then it has the armored tracks with 6 attacks, hits on 4s, has strength 8. All right, so it does have the deadly demise, die 6+2, so if you do kill it, it has the potential of blowing up big. It is a rolling fortress, which is kind of a cool new ability. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to an Astra Militarum unit, or a model from your army, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of the Baneblade model, that model has the benefit of cover against that attack. So kind of allows them to kind of huddle and hide behind the tank. It's kind of representing that tactic, which is neat. And then it does have the damaged with 1 to 8 remaining wounds. This model will subtract 4 from its objective control characteristic, and each time this model makes an attack, subtract 1 from its rotate roll. So, I mean, they use their big showcase model as their example of what they're going to be doing to beef up their vehicles, and yeah, that thing is a massive monstrosity. They do have a weapon spotlight. It says the rhythm of an Imperial assault is the constant dull thud of battle cannons firing up and down the line as the numerous battle tanks lob shells into enemy positions. These hefty guns have always been a great all-around weapon for tackling light and heavy targets alike, and they earn a welcome boost to their strength. So they do get a bump in their strength. The rest of it's pretty much the same. I think the range might be a little shorter than it once was. Has a die 6 plus 3 attacks, so it's minimum it's going to hit 4. With its big pie plate like template that it used to, it's representing the old pie plate template that they used to have. Blue skill 4+, strength 10, only AP -1, so it's not quite as good against infantry as it used to be. And it does only 3 damage, which means it's not quite as good as cranking your bigger vehicles as it used to be. It says, yet, even this battle cannon looks a little more than a pea shooter next to the true king of the battlefield firepower, the Volcano Cannon. The Shadow Sword Super Heavy Tank is essentially a delivery system for this behemoth, and its raw power is exactly what you'd need in a dedicated Titan killer. I agree. That's the thing too, is that the Shadow Sword back in the old Warhammer Space Marine Epic 40k days, you'd see an Imperial Guard guy drop one of these on the table, and it was straight up there just to zort the living crap out of your Titans. And this changeover definitely kind of represents that. It's got its massive range of 8 feet, and it has a die 3+1 attack, so it's gonna crap out a minimum of two attacks. It's only gonna hit on a 4 or better. I'm sure there's probably gonna be some kind of vehicle orders that can boost that. Strength of an absolutely ludicrous 24, AP -5, so it's going to literally melt pretty much any kind of infantry unit, and it does 12 damage, so it's just going to absolutely just destroy whatever it actually shoots at. I mean, Shadow Swords aren't typically the most popular version of the Baneblade tanks that you put out there, or the super heavies, but still pretty cool. It's definitely smart on Games Workshop's part here to kind of showcase this. Look at this giant ass thing you can put on the board. Look at these absolute ludicrous stats. It's cool. It's smart on their part. I won't say how practical it is to be using that, but it's smart. Stratagem spotlight. As numerous as your mass conscripts are, there often comes a time when the noble sacrifices pile a little too high and more able bodies are needed for the Emperor's service. Fortunately, commanders of a combined regiment detachment can call upon fresh reinforcements when things get a bit dicey. Reinforcements, it's a 2 command point stratagem. It says the Astra Militarum can call upon nearly inexhaustible supply of warriors. You can do this in any phase of the game. It says target 1 regiment unit from your army that was just destroyed. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. Add a new unit to your army identical to the one to your destroyed unit in the strategic reserves at its starting strength with all of its wounds remaining. The stratagem cannot be used to return destroyed character units to attached units. So that's bonkers. So it kind of represents the swarm tactics, the avalanche of bodies. I love it. I think it's amazing. It's what I always felt an Imperial Guard army should be. So I think that this is a really cool concept. What sorts of units have the regiment keyword, you ask? Your core infantry squads, of course, but also the big guns of heavy weapon squads and field ordnance batteries. Elites like Tempestus Scions, and even fast-moving Rough Riders and Sentinels teams. Your reserves are truly as limitless as your devotion. There you go. Says a word from the studio. As James from the Warhammer Design Studios told us, with the combined regiment detachment, we wanted to evoke Astra Militarum force, drawing on all of its human courage to stand firm against the foes. Picture guardsmen and tanks hunkering down to blast the oncoming enemy, and you have the Born Soldiers Detachment rule, which confers lethal hits on ranged attacks made by units that remain stationary. So that's nice. The enhancements you can give to characters play into this further, whether you use Drill Commander to lend your stationary units critical hits on rolls of 5 instead of 6. That's incredible. Or the Death Mask of Alnius, excuse my French, which sees the objective control characteristic of the bearer's unit drop by only 1 while battle shocked rather than to 0. With a flexible crop of stratagems on top of this, a combined regiment detachment promises to be a well-rounded fighting machine capable of anything High Command might ask of it. And then they give you some stuff from the Black Library for your Astra Militarum and everything. So there you go, guys. They also do have out the faction focuses on the Space Marines, Tyranids, Chaos Space Marines, and Necrons. I believe that they bring new ones out every Monday. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more of these as the 10th ed gets closer and closer. I believe 10th ed is going to be released some point in time in the late June, so we can all look forward to that. I'm excited. I'm literally just kind of restarting the fire for 40k on my front, so I am very, very excited for the new version to hit the shelves. So thanks for checking out my quick breakdown of the Astra Militarum preview, and Please like and subscribe to this video and follow me over on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and here on YouTube. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, take care.
Boom goes the dynamite.